What if I told you that everything we know about Mars could be a lie? What if NASA and Elon Musk were hiding something so scary that it could completely change the future of humanity? It sounds like a conspiracy theory, but the facts say otherwise. In recent years, leaked images, classified documents, and statements from former NASA employees have raised suspicions about what is really happening on the Red Planet. Elon Musk's interest in Mars is not just a billionaire obsession with space exploration. Does he know something we don't know? SpaceX and NASA are investing billions to reach the Red Planet. But why so much secrecy about some discoveries? Why are certain images edited before being released to the public? There's something much bigger going on behind the scenes of this space race, and today we're going to look at the most disturbing evidence ever revealed. Recent leaks suggest that Mars may not be the desert planet we were led to believe. Mysterious structures detected in official images, reports from scientists, and even government files indicate that something may be hidden. What's behind NASA's interest in covering up information? What is the real reason for Elon Musk to want to colonize Mars as quickly as possible? If there is something on Mars that the world is not yet ready to know, why is this information being kept secret? What is it about these images that never reached the public? Some of them were analyzed, and what was discovered is, to say the least, disturbing. Before we go any further, stop and think. Why is so much money being invested on this planet in record time? What's really behind the space missions that promise to take the first humans to Mars? Are governments and corporations hiding something from humanity? Over the next few minutes, we'll look at evidence that indicates Mars may be much more than just an arid desert. Let's explore documents that were leaked and understand why some images were deleted or censored. And above all, let's question what we're not being told about the true nature of the Red Planet. But before you reveal this evidence, pay attention to what you're about to see. The information we are going to expose is not just rumors, but hidden data, edited images, and reports that never reach the public. The big question is, why? What don't NASA and SpaceX want us to know about Mars? The truth is that there is strict control over what is disclosed about space exploration. Images are censored, information disappears, and questions are ignored. If something was discovered on Mars, why don't we have access to everything? What's so secret about these missions? Staying up to date with these events is not just curiosity. It is understanding what is really happening. NASA and large corporations spend billions to explore Mars, but most discoveries are restricted to a few. Why all this mystery? If you want to follow these revelations and understand what really goes on behind the scenes of space exploration, leave a like and subscribe to the channel. This helps us continue to bring you information that can change your view of Mars and the future of humanity. What comes next could be the key to unlocking this secret. NASA and SpaceX are investing billions in Mars. But why? Officially, they say it is the next logical step in space exploration, a necessary advancement for humanity's survival. But is this the whole truth? What would justify such a huge effort, such a fast-paced race, as if there was an urgency behind it all? Elon Musk claims that the colonization of Mars is essential to guarantee the continuity of human civilization. If something happens to Earth, but does this really explain everything? Since NASA began releasing images and data about the Red Planet, some information seems contradictory. Others have simply been deleted or adjusted before being released to the public. Why such strict control over what reaches us? If Mars is just a desert and inhospitable planet, why is so much information classified as classified? In recent years, a series of leaked documents have raised doubts about what is really going on. Some reports indicate that NASA has already found evidence of something surprising on Mars, but has chosen not to publicize these findings. Images of surface anomalies, unusual geometric patterns, and even unexplained changes in the planet's atmosphere. were ignored or treated as processing errors by space agencies. Meanwhile, SpaceX is advancing its tests to take humans to Mars as quickly as possible. But is this plan just a matter of exploration, or is there something much bigger behind it? Could it be possible that Musk knows something that we don't? After all, he has privileged access to information that does not reach the public. The development of Starship, a rocket designed to transport humans to Mars, is being accelerated at an unprecedented pace. If this is a project for the distant future, why the rush? NASA, on the other hand, has a history of missions that, at the very least, raise suspicions. Some probes sent to Mars have mysteriously failed, disappeared, or lost contact inexplicably. What happened to these missions? Were they really technical glitches, or was there something that was never revealed? Official reports claim that it is all just a coincidence, but leaks indicate that there is much more to this story than has been disclosed. A case that generated enormous controversy was that of the Viking probe, which in 1976 carried out an experiment to detect signs of life on Mars. Initial results indicated the presence of biological activity, but curiously, NASA refused to validate the discovery, claiming that there could be an error in the tests. Why were they so quick to reject a result that, if confirmed, would completely change our understanding of life beyond Earth? And then we have the images of Mars released over the years, but which appear to contain suspicious flaws and edits. Some photos feature strange objects or formations that, upon closer inspection, simply disappear in later versions. There are images recorded where certain areas of the surface appear blurred or pixelated without any official explanation. What is being hidden in these regions? Could it just be flaws in the processing of the images or something they don't want us to see? Another intriguing issue is the recent acceleration of the private space race. Not only SpaceX, but other companies such as Jeff Bezos, Blue Origin, and NASA itself are increasing their investments in space exploration with a focus on Mars. Where is this frantic race taking us? What do these big corporations and governments know that we don't? The truth is that NASA and Elon Musk are not just exploring Mars. They are preparing something. And, apparently, they don't want the general public to have access to certain information. The way in which discoveries about Mars are released follows a very well-calculated pattern. Information is released little by little, always maintaining a cautious tone, avoiding definitive conclusions. And when something really impactful comes along, it quickly becomes the target of controversy and misinformation. If colonizing Mars is just a big project for the future, why do we see decisions being made as if there is imminent urgency? Why does certain information remain inaccessible even after years of research? If NASA has indeed found something out of the ordinary on the red planet, how long will it be before the truth is revealed? All of this leads us to an inevitable question. Is Mars really a dead and inhospitable planet? Or is there something much more complex happening behind this narrative? Is the true story about Mars being written out of the public eye? The answer may lie in the next revelations we will analyze, and what comes next could be the key to understanding what is being hidden. If you're as intrigued as I am, let me know what you think about it in the comments. Do you believe there is something being hidden about Mars? Comment NASA is hiding something if you want more people to see this video and discuss this mystery. Next, let's look at the evidence that could finally reveal what NASA and Elon Musk are trying to hide. If the images of Mars that reach us go through a rigorous filter before being released, what exactly is being hidden? This is not a matter of simple error or technical failures, but rather of a repetitive pattern over the decades. Whenever something out of the ordinary appears in a photo captured by one of NASA's probes or rovers, shortly after that image is edited, replaced, or even disappears from the public archives. The question we need to ask ourselves is, what is it about these images that cannot be revealed to the world? Some independent researchers and image analysts began to notice strange patterns in several photographs of Mars. Certain regions appear purposefully blurred. Others show signs of geometric structures that simply shouldn't be there. There is a case in which a sequence of images of the same area of the Martian surface shows a mysterious object that, in later records, disappears without explanation. Could this be a flaw in image processing, or are we dealing with a much larger scheme of information hiding? The most intriguing thing is that internal reports indicate that these edits are made before the images even reach the public. Who decides what we can and cannot see? Why have some areas of Mars never been explored in detail by NASA and SpaceX missions? There are regions of the red planet that, for some reason, remain beyond the reach of rovers, as if there were an invisible barrier preventing deeper exploration. What is it about these places that scientists don't want to reveal? This brings us to an even more controversial point: the existence of anomalous structures on the Martian surface. Some images suggest formations that do not appear to be the result of natural processes, but rather something much more intriguing. There are those who claim that these formations could be remnants of an ancient civilization, or even evidence that Mars once hosted some type of intelligent life in the past. If that were true, wouldn't it be the greatest discovery in history? And, at the same time, wouldn't it explain why NASA maintains such great secrecy around certain discoveries? Reports from former scientists who worked on projects linked to space exploration reinforce this suspicion. One of them even stated that Mars has secrets that the world is not yet ready to know. What exactly did he mean by that? Why would a government agency hide such important information? If there is something on Mars that could completely change our view of the universe and our own existence, why haven't we been informed? And the issue doesn't stop there. NASA has been asked several times about the possibility of life on Mars, and their answers always follow a pattern. They say they have not yet found concrete evidence, but that they continue to investigate. Doesn't that seem like a convenient way to avoid the subject? Why don't they just reveal everything they know? Some documents that have been leaked in recent years indicate that organic compounds and even signs of biological activity have been detected on Mars. But this information has never been officially confirmed. If this is true, what does it mean for the future of space exploration? Another point that raises even more doubts are the inexplicable failures in certain missions sent to Mars. Some probes simply disappeared without a trace. Others lost contact shortly before transmitting crucial data. Were these failures really accidents, or is there something bigger behind it? Some theorists suggest that there may be external forces interfering with these missions. Perhaps even something that NASA already knows about but cannot disclose. After all, a secret like this would change everything we know about our place in the universe. What if Mars was inhabited at some point in the past? Some scientists support the idea that the red planet may have harbored oceans and an Earth-like atmosphere billions of years ago. But what if life there wasn't just microbial? At some point Mars had an advanced civilization. Its remains could be buried beneath Martian dust and rocks, hidden from us. What if NASA has already found signs of this and has chosen to keep these discoveries from public knowledge? There are indications that certain experiments conducted on Mars were designed to find signs of life. But when the results were ambiguous or surprising, NASA decided to discard them. The case of the Viking probe, for example, is one of the best known. The experiment initially suggested the presence of biological activity in Martian soil. But rather than investigate further, the agency concluded the results were inconclusive and moved on. Does this make sense? If there was any possibility of finding life beyond Earth, why end the discussion this way? The mystery becomes even greater when we analyze the statements of astronauts who have already participated in space missions. Some of them have reported seeing things in space that they cannot explain. Others have insinuated that certain details about Mars and the Moon are known within NASA but will never be released to the public. There are even former agency employees who claim that confidential meetings discuss findings that will never reach the mainstream media. If this is all true, what would be the real reason for so much secrecy? Isn't humanity ready to know the truth about Mars? Or would it be something so impactful that it could change the course of history? What does Elon Musk know about this? The billionaire has always stated that the colonization of Mars is the only way to guarantee the future of humanity. But does this obsession hide something more? Is he trying to get to Mars before certain information is made public? NASA continues to invest billions in space exploration, and SpaceX accelerates its Mars flight program, but the answers we really want are never given. What's really going on behind these missions? Are we being prepared for a gradual revelation? Will we finally have access to information that has been kept secret for so long in the coming years? Now, I want to know your opinion. Do you believe NASA is hiding something about Mars? Leave a comment saying the truth about Mars will be revealed, so that this video reaches more people and we can discuss this mystery together. If NASA really hides information about Mars, what could be the reasons? What could be so impactful that it would be kept from public knowledge? With each new mission sent to the Red Planet, more doubts arise about what is being discovered and what will never be disclosed. There are several theories that try to explain why NASA and SpaceX invest billions of dollars in Mars and, more than that, why there is such secrecy surrounding these missions. And when we look at the facts, it becomes clear that some of these theories make a lot more sense than they seem at first glance. One of the most intriguing is that Mars was once home to an advanced civilization. If we analyze the planet's geological history, we will see that it once had abundant water and a dense atmosphere. Some research indicates that Mars may have been very similar to Earth billions of years ago. If this is true, what would have happened for the planet to become the arid desert we know today? Was it natural climate change or a catastrophic event? And most importantly, if Mars was once capable of supporting intelligent life, where are the traces of this? Many images captured by NASA over the years show formations that resemble artificial structures. Some appear to be pyramids, others the ruins of something that could have been a city in the remote past. Are these formations just natural formations, or is there something more? Some experts suggest that NASA once found evidence that Mars had civilizations but decided to hide this information. If humanity discovered that it is not the first intelligent species to inhabit the solar system, how would that affect our view of our own history? Another theory raises the possibility that Mars is not just an object of scientific exploration, but an evacuation plan for the world's elite. Some of the most influential people and billionaires in the world, such as Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos, are investing fortunes in space colonization projects. But why? We know that Earth faces several environmental crises, extreme climate change, threats of nuclear war, and even the risk of asteroid impacts. Given this, Mars could be an escape plan for a small portion of the population, ensuring the survival of those who have the power and resources to escape a possible global collapse. SpaceX, Elon Musk's company, is rapidly advancing in developing the technology needed to transport humans to Mars. Starship, a reusable rocket capable of carrying large payloads into space, is being built at impressive speed. But is all this rush justified just by technological advances? Is there something happening behind the scenes that justifies this urgency? If the elite knows something that has not yet reached the public, perhaps the colonization of Mars is not just an exploration project, but a survival plan. And there is another issue that needs to be discussed. If NASA and other space agencies have already found signs of life on Mars, why haven't they disclosed it? Some experiments carried out on previous missions indicated the presence of organic compounds and chemical processes that suggest biological Activity in 1976. The Viking mission conducted tests that some scientists believed could have detected signs of microscopic life. However, the results were discarded and classified as inconclusive. Decades later, new missions found evidence that Mars once had conditions for the existence of life. But again, NASA was cautious in its statements. If we go further, we may even wonder whether life on Mars still exists. Could it be possible that microscopic organisms were living underground on the planet, far from the harsh environment of the surface? What if NASA already knew this, but was waiting for the right time to publicize this discovery? If there's one thing we've learned over the years, it's that big revelations are never made all at once. Everything happens gradually, preparing the population to accept new information without causing panic or major questions. Has NASA already found evidence of extraterrestrial life? But is it releasing this information little by little to avoid an unpredictable reaction from society? And the most curious thing is that some statements from former NASA employees and military personnel who worked on secret space programs reinforce this suspicion. Some of them claim that there is undisclosed knowledge about Mars and that, within the agency, there is information that will never reach the public. One of these former scientists even declared that Mars has secrets that the world is not yet ready to know. What could be so shocking that it would be hidden from humanity? Furthermore, there are indications that the exploration of Mars has not started now. Some theories suggest that unofficial missions have been sent to the planet much longer than we imagine. There are reports of secret space projects conducted outside the public's knowledge, possibly linked to military programs. And this leads us to another question. If secret bases were already being built on Mars, how would we know? If Martian exploration were more advanced than we are told, who would have access to this information? There are many unanswered questions. But one thing is certain. The race to Mars involves much more than is publicly disclosed, whether for exploration, colonization, or something even more secret. The truth is that the red planet arouses unusual interest among the most powerful. In the world, what do they know that we don't know? Are we getting closer to a revelation that will change our view of Mars forever? If you have your own theory about this, leave your comment. Do you believe that Mars was once inhabited? Do you think it's possible that NASA and SpaceX are hiding crucial information? Comment the truth about Mars will be revealed, if you believe. We are closer to finding out what is really going on. If NASA has nothing to hide about Mars, why do so many images released to the public go through edits before being released? With each new mission, photographs reveal anomalies that disappear in later versions. Blurs, purposefully blurred areas, and even video cuts raise suspicions about what is really being found on the red planet. What is the criteria for deciding what can and cannot be shown? If Mars were just a barren planet without mysteries, there would be no need to manipulate this information. Hackers have already leaked secret documents that indicate NASA missions detected anomalies years ago. Some of these reports suggest that strange structures have been identified on the surface, but classified as natural formations without further investigation. Is it a coincidence that whenever a symmetrical object or pattern appears in an image, it ends up being reclassified as a visual effect? Some of this evidence points out that certain areas of the planet are restricted even to robotic probes, as if there were an invisible barrier preventing certain regions from being explored, reports from astronauts also contribute to this web of mystery. Many have already insinuated, in interviews, that there are secrets about Mars that will never be revealed to the public. Some said they had witnessed unexplained phenomena in space, while others reported that there are internal meetings at NASA, where highly sensitive information is discussed and kept away from the public. What would be the justification for this extreme secrecy? There was hard evidence of something on Mars that challenged our understanding of the universe. How would it impact the world? The relationship between governments and private corporations also reinforces suspicions. Elon Musk's SpaceX seems to be in a race against time to reach Mars. But what justifies this rush? Why do billionaires invest fortunes in space exploration if, supposedly, we are still far from viable colonization? Privileged information may be circulating among these groups, while the public only receives fragments of what is really happening. And what about the missions that mysteriously failed? Several probes sent to Mars have disappeared without explanation or lost contact at the exact moment they were to transmit critical data. Are these just technical glitches, or is something else interfering with these missions? There is a pattern to these losses, and many of them occurred when the probes were close to areas considered suspicious. If there was something on Mars that cannot be revealed, wouldn't it make sense to prevent these missions from succeeding? With so much evidence and contradictions, the big question is, how long will these secrets remain hidden? What does NASA already know and is hiding from the public? What is the real reason behind the interest of so many private companies in Mars? Something is happening, and every day new information emerges that indicates that the truth may be much closer than we imagine. Now, I want to know your opinion. Do you believe there is something being hidden on Mars? Comment "The truth is on Mars" so that this video reaches more people and we can continue this investigation together. If you have seen any suspicious images or know of any reports about this mystery, share them in the comments. The more people discuss this, the greater the chance that the truth will finally come to light. NASA has always maintained a clear official statement about Mars. It is an arid planet, without mysteries, without life, and with a turbulent geological past that made it uninhabitable. According to its scientists, all anomalies observed in images and videos can be explained by natural phenomena, optical illusions, or even processing errors. But is this the absolute truth, or just the version they want us to believe? If there is nothing extraordinary happening on the red planet, why do so many images need to be edited before being released to the public? Why do so many documents remain classified and accessible only to a small group of people within the space agency itself? NASA's official justification for the presence of apparently geometric structures on the Martian surface, such as the famous pyramids or supposed ruined buildings, is that it is all erosion caused by wind and extreme temperature changes over millions of years. They say the patterns that look artificial are just rock formations carved by the planet's harsh environment. But if this is true, how can we explain that some of these formations have almost perfect angles, strange alignments, and unusual symmetry? Independent experts who analyze these images point out that it is extremely unlikely that natural forces would create such precise structures without any external intervention. Another point frequently raised by skeptics is the issue of the mysterious disappearances of certain probes and the recurring failure of missions that were about to collect crucial data. According to NASA, the vast majority of these failures can be explained by technical failures or natural difficulties faced by equipment operating in an environment as extreme as Mars. They say that fine Martian dust can interfere with systems, that winds can compromise the stability of probes, and that communication problems can occur due to the distance from Earth. But what they don't explain is the pattern that these failures follow. Why do so many missions lose contact precisely when they are close to locations considered suspicious? SpaceX, led by Elon Musk, also maintains a similar stance to NASA when it comes to explaining Mars to the public. Musk is a big supporter of Martian colonization and claims that humanity needs to turn Mars into a second home. But what he never comments publicly is whether his company has ever found anything unusual on the planet. Could it be that he knows something that motivates him to invest billions in technology to get there before any other agency? NASA claims that all space missions are research-oriented and that the search for life beyond Earth continues. But whenever asked about something more complex, the answers are vague and inconclusive. Scientists involved in the exploration of Mars argue that the variations recorded in the images, such as strange changes in the atmosphere, mysterious lights on the surface, and even shadows that appear to move, can be explained by optical phenomena and distortions caused by the environment. But how can we explain that some of these anomalies have already been seen by more than one different mission? How can we justify that some images are released with certain details, but sometime later, new versions of the same image appear? Without these suspicious elements, if there is nothing to hide, why this inconsistency in information? Another common NASA argument is that, to date, no concrete signs of life have been detected on Mars. According to them, the experiments carried out to date only indicate that the planet once had water in the past. But there is no evidence that living organisms currently exist there. However, several researchers point out that some of the analyses carried out on Mars suggest otherwise. In 1976, the Viking probe conducted tests that detected chemical behavior in Martian soil that indicated the presence of biological activity. At the time, the results were dismissed, and NASA claimed it could just be an unknown chemical reaction. But does this explanation convince? If there was any possibility that Mars harbored life, why weren't the experiments replicated to confirm it? The same cautious attitude can be observed when it comes to reports from astronauts who have already participated in space missions. Whenever an astronaut makes suggestive statements about something unusual in space, agencies quickly try to downplay or debunk their words. Reports of unidentified lights, objects that appear to move against the laws of physics, and even strange sensations reported by space mission crews are often ignored. If NASA really has nothing to hide, why such strict behavior on these matters? Another important detail is that, while NASA insists that Mars is a completely inhospitable environment, there is evidence that suggests that certain points on the planet have temperatures that could support some type of life, even at microscopic levels. Additionally, there are images that show formations that look like relatively recent water channels. If there is a possibility that water still exists in a liquid state below the surface, wouldn't that drastically increase the chances of life? Why is this information released in small doses and always accompanied by explanations that minimize its importance? The debate about Mars is far from over, and the big question is, how far does the control of information released to the public go? What is real and what is just a narrative constructed to keep the population away from the truth? Are we really getting all the information about Mars, or just what they decide we should know? What else could be happening behind the scenes of space exploration that will never become known to the general public? Now, I want to know your opinion. Do you believe NASA's official explanation, or do you think there is something much bigger being hidden? Comet Mars hides something if you believe there is still a lot to be discovered. If you've seen any evidence or have your own theory about what's going on, share it in the comments. This debate needs to continue, and the more people question it, the harder it will be to hide the truth. What no one expected was this bombastic revelation. For years, NASA has fed the narrative that Mars is just an inhospitable desert, devoid of life and mystery. But new leaks and images analyzed by experts indicate something completely different. Something that could change our vision of space, exploration, and the future of humanity. If these findings are real, we are not just looking at a conspiracy theory, but a global cover-up that has been decades in the making. And the question we need to ask ourselves is, why? What is it about Mars that would justify such an extreme level of secrecy? What few know is that recently leaked documents suggest that NASA has already found artificial structures on Mars. Yes, structures. And we're not talking about simple rock formations sculpted by wind or time, but geometric patterns that indicate something that couldn't have formed naturally. Some of these images show what appear to be the remains of buildings, pillars, even something that resembles underground roads partially covered in Martian dust. Would this mean that Mars was once inhabited? If yes, by whom? And most importantly, what happened to this civilization? In a series of images that have emerged online, we see stunning details that don't fit the official narrative. Small structures, too symmetrical to be just rocks, appear in regions that NASA avoids exploring. Why are no missions sent to these locations? The official explanation is that these areas are not scientific priorities. But is this the truth, or just a convenient excuse? If Mars has never been home to anything but dust and rocks, why do so many regions remain off-limits to probes and rovers? And there is more. In addition to the alleged structures, there is growing evidence that NASA may have found signs of microscopic life on Mars and chosen to hide this information. This is because some tests have already indicated the presence of methane in the Martian atmosphere, a gas that on Earth is directly linked to the presence of biological life. The official justification is that this methane may have a geological origin, but experts point out that the concentrations of this gas vary irregularly, a behavior much more compatible with living organisms releasing substances into the environment. If this is true, it means that the first major discovery of life beyond Earth may have already happened, but it is being kept secret. And then we have the insider reports. Former NASA employees have hinted that there is much more going on than MyNat. The public knows. One former scientist even claimed that NASA has knowledge about anomalies on Mars that simply cannot be explained. He suggested that there are internal protocols for dealing with discoveries that could have an impact on society, and that some of them never reach public knowledge, because they could shake power structures and change the way we see the universe. But what could be so serious that it should be hidden? Another shocking point is the issue of censored audio. Some missions to Mars transmitted signals and noises that, for some reason, were never officially released. What did these audios contain? Was it just interference, or is there something more? On certain occasions, strange signals have been picked up coming from the red planet as if something was trying to communicate. But instead of deepening the investigations, the files were archived, classified, and ignored. And if we go even further, there are even more disturbing reports. Some of the most controversial images ever captured on Mars show what appeared to be metallic objects partially buried on the surface. Something that should not exist on a planet, supposedly without any previous technological activity. Could they be debris from some secret mission? Or something even older, belonging to a civilization that disappeared thousands or millions of years ago? Whatever the truth, one thing is certain. The story of Mars is far from being as simple as we are told. There is information that is clearly being controlled, leaks that are quickly refuted, and evidence that simply disappears. What is being hidden? And, most importantly, when will this truth come to light? Now, I want to know your opinion. Do you believe NASA found something on Mars that will never be revealed? Leave a comment saying the truth will be revealed if you believe we are close to a great discovery. If you have seen any suspicious images or know of a case that could reinforce this evidence, share your theory in the comments. The more we investigate together, the harder it will be for this information to remain hidden. If everything we've discussed so far is true, then Mars could be keeping secrets that go far beyond what we imagine. NASA and SpaceX continue to advance their missions, but always with strict control over the information that reaches the public. What's really going on behind the scenes? Why do certain images disappear or are edited before release? What causes some areas of the planet to remain inaccessible, even with all the technology available? The signs that something is being hidden are strong, and the leaks are increasingly frequent. Anomalous structures, strange signals captured in space, astronauts hinting that there is more than we can imagine, classified documents that suggest the presence of something on Mars that shouldn't be there. The pattern is always the same. When a suspicious detail comes to light, it is quickly discredited or explained away with simplistic justifications. But how long will this official version be sustained? What if we soon have evidence that simply can no longer be ignored? Elon Musk continues his obsession with Mars, and his rush to colonize the planet seems increasingly suspicious. Does he know? Something we don't know. Could your race to make Mars habitable have a much greater purpose than simply exploring new worlds? He has stated several times that humanity needs a plan B, that Earth may not be a safe home for much longer. But what exactly does he mean by that? Is there an imminent threat that is being kept secret? What we know is that Mars is not just any planet. It has long aroused the interest of scientists, governments, and private corporations. And each new discovery seems to increase this fascination even further. But what exactly are they looking for? If everything was just about scientific exploration, why is so much information hidden? What if the real reason behind this space race is not just scientific, but something much more strategic and secretive? Now I want to know your opinion. Do you believe NASA and Elon Musk are hiding something from us? Do you think Mars was once inhabited, or that there is something there that we don't yet know about? Leave your comments saying the truth will be revealed so that more people can see this video and join this debate. If you've heard of any suspicious evidence or have your own theory about what might be going on, share it in the comments. The more we discuss this, the harder it will be for this information to remain hidden. I know you've come this far. It's because this topic really impacted you. You felt that there was something wrong with this story, that there was information being withheld, and that we needed to continue investigating. And that's exactly why I want to invite you to be part of this community. Here, we are always analyzing the mysteries of space, NASA secrets and conspiracies that could completely change our view of the universe. So, if you want to continue following these revelations and not miss any new discoveries, subscribe to the channel now and turn on notifications. This ensures that you always receive new videos and that this type of content continues to reach more people, and to know who really followed everything until the end. I want you to comment the truth about Mars cannot be hidden down here. I want to see how many people are really willing to question and seek answers. If you believe we are closer to a shocking revelation, leave your comment and share your opinion. Let's continue this debate, because the more people talk about it, the harder it will be for this truth to remain hidden. If NASA already hides information about Mars, imagine what the astronauts witnessed in space and were never able to reveal. There are reports of cut transmissions, leaked conversations, and cryptic statements made years later when they had nothing left to lose. What did they really see out there? In the next video, we will analyze the most mysterious experiences ever experienced by astronauts and the details that have never been officially recorded. Some of these stories could completely change our view of what really happens beyond Earth's orbit.